just coming up to 25 minutes past 8. The Prime Minister has assured the public the Queen is very well, despite the monarch missing the Remembrance Sunday ceremony for the first time in 22 years with a sprained back.
At 95, the Queen still reiterates her desire to continue as a working royal. But with her recent health issues, some people are asking, is it time she stepped aside?
Well, joining us in the studio to discuss this, political commentator Dominique Samuels, who says the public is not ready for the Queen to stand down, and the former royal editor of The Sun, Duncan Larkham, who thinks the monarch's health is failing and she should step aside. Very good morning to both of you. Well, it sort of feels like some form of heresy to say this, Duncan. She's the Queen. She's the monarch. She's not going anywhere.
No, I think, obviously, nobody wants her to. What's interesting with the Queen, next year's her 70th year on the throne, and I would argue, I think she's probably more popular amongst the British public now than she has been, certainly, for many years. So I'm not saying I'm not saying I want her, but she's 95 years old. She came back from Balmoral earlier this sort of September, committed almost with a spring in her step to do all those royal engagements, but then her health started to fail her. It was a cold then. She's pulled out for the first time in 22 years, pulled out of Remembrance Sunday, one of the most important things in her calendar. So clearly, yes, everyone's playing down how serious it is. But at 95, are we really going to expect, as a nation that adores the Queen so much, for her to go on indefinitely and become some kind of virtual monarch doing FaceTime and Zoom meetings from inside her palace? She wouldn't want that. Prince Charles, he's waited since he was 4 years old. Maybe it's time.
Well, we certainly have to understand if she's 95, that if she has a bad back, that it's fine for her to miss the Remembrance ceremony, because she's got lots of other royals who can go for her. But I hope she's resting, recuperating, working on her Christmas message for the Commonwealth and getting ready for her family Christmas. But is it really for us to start telling the Queen whether or not it's time for her to go?
No one will tell the Queen, and nor would it be right to.
Right.
That's not what I think. Some people are beginning to think that perhaps it may be time just to consider the unthinkable. What will happen? Are we really doing the Queen the best thing if we're asking her at the age of 95 to keep going, keep going, keep going until she dies? Of course not.
Dominique, you want her to keep going, keep going, keep going?
Yeah, I think the country needs her, and especially with regards to Prince Charles. I mean, he's never been really quite popular, has he? It's William, it's Kate, it's the Queen. Those are the people that the country loves. And, in my personal opinion, and from a lot of the comment I've seen just generally, a lot of people don't really like Prince Charles. They feel as though if he stepped in, he would effectively destroy the monarchy. He's talking about politics. He's making big statements on climate change. I don't think that he's as in tune with the British public as the Queen is.
So you want the Queen to remain monarch to protect the country from her son?
Yeah, because I'm genuinely concerned about the future of the country if the Queen goes. And I think that, we just have to apply a bit of common sense here. She's 95. Yeah. We've had a pandemic. She has to be extra careful because of the lockdowns and the fact that, she's not had maybe effective protection against certain things. She's an old woman. Let her have a rest.
Is it really bad that Prince Charles says things about climate change?
It's not him talking about climate change, because obviously we've all been talking about climate change, and the Queen has made
the past couple of weeks. He's not the only one.
But at COP26, when he said we need to go on a military-like footing, to battle climate change, whilst he flies around on his private jets, lecturing the rest of us from his ivory tower, a lot of people didn't like that. I think with royalty, they need to know that there's a line, and you nitpicking at what the average person does from your palace doesn't go down well.
Duncan, where are we with the popularity scale of the royals right now? Presumably the Queen is sort of way out front, but what about the others?
Yeah, I mean, it used to be only Prince Harry was second to the Queen. The Queen was number one forever.
Is number one.
It's still number one. All the and when you go and cover
don't write her off.
If you cover a royal visit and you're there covering the Queen, honestly, the reaction from the public as she walks around is different from any other royal. She is a lot more popular than Prince Charles. I think I'd be mad if I tried to argue that that's not the case. But, why not have the Queen perhaps playing that kind of advisory handover role, which has happened before with members of the royal family? She made a commitment 70 years ago Well, we can't hold her to that commitment now if her health is failing.
But that
and it
commitment...
isn't if. I'm not saying it's
Yeah, I mean, we don't know that
it is.
But that
is.
commitment...
But if
her father took over because her uncle abdicated, and it changed their lives forever. And then in her eyes, she made a solemn promise to God that it was her duty to be the Queen. And I think using these words about abdication or standing down, I mean, I've met her lots of times. I had a one-to-one meeting with her at the end of my time as a cabinet minister. She has such detailed knowledge, such kind of commitment to duty. I mean, I don't think she's ever going to walk away.
No, I don't think she should either.
Okay, no, OK, but if she were your grandmother, if she was your mother, any of our mothers...
I'd want her to look after her back.
95, you can see perhaps that her body's not quite as capable now of doing what she wants to do. You know, sometimes it's like, what do you say to your elderly grandmother?
Happens to all of us, don't it?
And it's still the Queen.
The thing is, Dominique, you know, Duncan mentioned at the beginning, do we really want her to sort of be a monarch on Zoom? I think the fact of the matter is the pandemic's allowed us to think that that would be OK. It is all right to do things on Zoom. It is all right to have virtual appearances. You know, she did her message to COP26. She wasn't there in person.
Recorded it,
Do we really need the monarch there in person as long as she's sending a message?
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I mean, obviously, there's something different about being in person and actually being able to engage with people. But quite frankly, we just haven't had the chance to do that because of the pandemic, obviously. And I think it has demonstrated that she doesn't need to be there all of the time. And, you know, Prince Philip stopped his official engagements at 96. She's 95. And, you know, she's clearly in very good health, much better health than Prince Philip was for a while. So I think it's far too early to start talking about abdication. And I think she knows herself that it's her duty. So she'd never step down.
Yeah. All right, Dominique, Duncan. It's interesting, Duncan, that you feel uncomfortable just even talking about it.
I'm going to get beheaded now on the way home. So
you'll be sent to the tower for even trying to argue it.
Exactly, I'll be in trouble.
Thanks both very much indeed.
Thank you.
See you this
Thank
morning.
you.